quick thank you to our sponsors for making this podcast possible. They keep this show free to listen to. Does connected parenting feel confusing? What do I do in this situation? How do I handle that issue? Let me help you make more sense of it all in my 30-day challenge. We meet for 4 weeks of group coaching, and you get access to all of the Peace in Parenting online materials, my entire Connected Parent Mastermind. Plus, we give you access to our school community. I help you get more connected and jumpstart your parenting in this 30-day challenge. So go to the show notes and sign up, and I'll see you there. Thanks for joining me on the Peace in Parenting podcast. I'm so glad you're here.
Welcome back to the Peace in Parenting podcast. I'm Michelle, and I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for joining me. I want to read another rating from one of our great listeners. I'm a mom of a 2-year-old son, soon to be 3, and I'm struggling with yelling. This podcast is the only tool that supports me out of understanding why it isn't in line with what I feel is right for me and my daughter, and helps me come out of my shame from yelling. When I listen to or re-listen to your episodes, I realize I'm not alone. I have clear tools and tips to immediately apply, and I know that it will never be perfect. Thank you so much for what you do. Michelle's voice is comforting, and that helps me feel even more like I have her support via her podcast. The under 20-minute episodes are also ideal for me. If they were longer, I'm afraid it would cause me to ruminate and forget about all the amazing tips she clearly provides. Thank you, Michelle. Thanks to you, I think we are in the midst of raising an amazing generation of children. Yes. I love it. NYC gal in KC. Thank you for this. It's so amazing. I think we are amidst raising a whole new generation of kids, and I couldn't be happier. I get a lot of flack on Instagram that I'm raising snowflakes and that I'm too soft and that, all of these negative things, but these reviews and ratings really, really help me feel better about this whole parenting journey. Okay. Thank you guys. We're going to talk about lying. I did an episode on lying a long time ago, but I wanted to refresh and do another one because I think my episodes get buried. There's so many now. They get so buried, and I wanted to just a tiny bit of a different take on lying. Just want us to think about lying. Lying is one of those big triggers for parents. If you just tell me the truth, you're not going to be in trouble. Or oftentimes we will catch a child in a lie. We'll say, we know they've lied, but then we'll say, did you do X, Y, or Z? And they'll say no because they don't want to be caught. And then we're more angry with them. Oh, now you lied to me about lying. So we get really caught up about lying, and that, there's this idea like you should always tell the truth, and lying is an evil sin, and there's never a reason to lie. And listen, we lie as adults. I lied the other day when my friend was like, oh my gosh, I just got this new dress. And I was like, oh, that's pretty. I didn't really like it, but okay. I told her it was pretty because I wanted to spare her feelings. Do we lie because of that? Do we lie when we don't want to do something and say, oh, I'm busy tonight, I'm sorry, I can't make it, instead of saying like, I don't want to hang out with you? That's not nice. Do we lie to spare people's feelings? Of course we do. We all lie. Now, there's a big difference between a white lie and sparing someone's feelings and lying maliciously, lying and telling somebody a mistruth that will hurt them, or lying and telling them a mistruth that makes you look better than you are, or makes you, doesn't hold you accountable for certain things. Now, our kids will also do this. They will lie to get themselves out of trouble. That's the number one reason why kids lie, is because they don't want to get in trouble. But if they live in a house where you can't really get in trouble, then there's no reason to lie. So are we creating lies because we are creating a paradigm where our child feels like they'd rather lie than get in trouble? And why is it they don't want to get in trouble? I don't think it's so much the punishments. But I do think if you're using punishments and consequences, that can create kids who lie. But I think, however, there's another piece. There's this disappointment piece, which we don't talk about much. It's this idea that if I lie to my parents, they're going to be disappointed in me. Or if I do something wrong, they're going to be disappointed in me. So I lie to get out of the disappointment. And I think that's a really interesting point. Do we have to be disappointed when our kids don't do something, or do something that we like, or don't do something that we don't like? Like, do we have to be disappointed? Or can it just not be about us? And what would that be? Things like grades, like our kid brings home a bad grade, and we might not punish them. We might not give them a consequence, but we might say, I'm really disappointed. I know you can do better. This is really hard having this grade here. Do we make it a place where they feel shame? And do they want to avoid the shame and avoid damaging the relationship they share with us? So they don't want to disappoint us, right? Nobody wants to really disappoint someone else. But if you are constantly in this space where you're easily disappointed, or that you are disappointed all the time, or even some of the times that you would respond with disappointment, is that punishment light? Because it's guilt and shame. Oh, I it's okay. You're not going to be punished, but I'm disappointed in you. I don't know. That can cause lying, I think, in my mind. It really can. And should mistakes disappoint parents, or should mistakes just be mistakes? Well, that happened. We're going to get through it. What can we do next time? Can we be matter of fact about it? Or do we take on and have them responsible for our feelings in some ways? And does that create lying?
We are going to take a short break from our show to hear from our sponsors. Without their sponsorship, I wouldn't be able to bring you the Peace and Parenting podcast free of charge. So I'll see you back in just a few minutes. Over half of the parents I work with are either diagnosed with ADHD or have children who are diagnosed with ADHD, or both. It can make parenting challenging and navigating the world as we know it a task. What you might not know is that women are underdiagnosed over men by almost 50%, oftentimes leaving them feeling misunderstood and mislabeled as disorganized or inattentive. Done can help. Done is a hybrid ADHD clinic which offers both virtual and in-person appointments made for the modern world by those with ADHD. Patients have much shorter wait times compared to traditional psychiatric care, with appointments available as soon as the next day, and appointments and meds are affordable, oftentimes less expensive than copays. Unlock your path to better focus with Done. Take a free 1-minute assessment and book an appointment with a licensed ADHD clinician as soon as the next day. Get continuous care, insurance coverage, and 24/7 care team support and pharmacy copays as low as $0. Right now, Done is offering my listeners 15% off your initial consultation at donefirst.com/peace. That's donefirst.com/peace to get 15% off. donefirst.com/peace. Done. Turn ADHD into a strength. You know what I don't miss at all? The vicious week before my period. I always used to feel like I was walking in quicksand and craving the most unhealthy of foods. My sleep was always off and my moods were unpredictable. Now it's easier to manage PMS with Estro Control. Happy Mammoth, the company that created Hormone Harmony, is dedicated to making women's lives easier. And that means using only science-backed ingredients that have been proven to work for women. They make no compromise when it comes to quality, and it shows. And the biggest benefit, feeling like myself again. That's what women mention over and over in their reviews, and there are over 14,000 reviews of Hormone Harmony. For a limited time, you can get 15% off the entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code PEACE at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use the code PEACE for 15% off today. Let's dive back in.
Some kids lie because they want to feel like they're included. Like everybody has the cool jacket. Oh yeah, I have that cool jacket at home too, even though they don't. Those kind of lies I totally understand too. They don't want to be left out, and little kids are trying online. And they might not always get caught, and they might not always get a natural consequence, but they will feel bad about it. And that's natural consequence enough. So your kids are going to try online. They really will. And it's okay. I think how we can avoid most of the lying is by not having the consequences, punishments, or the disappointment, that piece. I think another piece too is not to try to catch your child in a lie. If you know your kid is lying, you'd be like, hey, I know you lied about whatever. What's happening here? As opposed to asking them what happened last night. And then you're waiting for them. You're almost like wanting to catch them in the lie. Oh, I was at Susie's house. Oh, no, you weren't. We found out that you were at the party. Like, are you trying to trap them in the lie? And if you're trying to trap them in the lie, why? If you already know they've lied, just come right out with it and let's talk about it. Now, when a kid does lie, what are you supposed to do? People ask me that a lot. I just ask them what happened. You lied about X, Y, Z. What happened? Often there's a really good reason. Most times there's a really good reason. But you might have to take responsibility for that reason, because that reason might be that they don't want to get in trouble, or they don't want to disappoint you, or something that is about you. And if that's something, if your child is lying because of something about you, then we have to reevaluate the way in which we're parenting around that particular thing and find a new way to do it so your child doesn't feel like they need to lie, because we don't want them to lie to us, really. We'd like them to tell the truth. Now they're going to lie to us. That's okay. It is okay. It's just how we navigate it. Do we come with curiosity? What happened here? Oh, you lied? I see. Why, honey? Why would you lie? What happened? Oh, well, I was scared you would be mad and this and that. And, we went to the party because we didn't want you to know, because we knew you'd say no. Oh, yeah. Interesting. So then we have to reevaluate, why are we saying no about the parties? Is it better to say yes about the parties and know where the child is at the party and have constant communication and, be able to text and say, oh, you're there. Great. When are you coming back? Where is it? I'll pick you up. Like, is it that better than having them lie to us to get to the party? And it can be the same thing with little kids. They lie about all kinds of things. Like no, I didn't hit my brother. Nope. I didn't hit him. Nope. I don't know why he's crying. And is it because we've constantly gotten them in trouble for hitting their brother? Don't hit your brother. And is it punishment? It doesn't always have to be, don't hit your brother. Look at him. He doesn't like it when you do that. Gosh, you can't hit your brother. Is that enough for some kids, that shame enough for them to lie next time? Because they don't want that shame. They don't want to damage the relationship they share with us. They don't want to feel that guilt. And so I think many times, unfortunately, and I've been there too, Esme used to lie so much about her sister. Oh my gosh, I was constantly all over her. I think oftentimes we cause the lying because we're not necessarily punishing, but we're correcting in a way that the child feels shame. And that can cause them to want to avoid the shame, right? And avoid the correction. So they just say, no, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I don't blame them. I really don't blame them. And you really have to think to yourself too, you've lied. You have. I have. We all have. And does that mean we're bad people? I think the other thing too is we like, oh my gosh, they've lied. They're going to be a narcissist. They're going to be a horrible person. This is it. They're lying when they're 8 and life is over. And that's just it's not the case either. We catastrophize things and we get worried, and we parents want to make sure we have great kids. And so we go to a bad place around lying. Let's go to a more curious place around lying. Like, why is that happening? What kind of lie is it? Why did they do it? And what was the circumstance? What was the before? What led up to it? Really get curious about why your kid's lying so that you don't have to think poorly of them. I had a question a few weeks ago in the Connected Parent Mastermind, our group coaching program, and the mom asked me, well, what do I do? He's lying. He's lying. And I don't know what to do. I didn't call him out on it, but I know he's lying. And I was just like, just tell him he's lying. I know you lied about this. And then ask why. What would he say? And she said, well, he would say he doesn't want to be in trouble. And I said, well, there's your answer. Right there is your answer. He doesn't want to be in trouble. So how do we get him to stop lying? We stop getting him in trouble. All right. Many things to think about in lying. I hope that this podcast was helpful and that you can reframe it really to not demonize our kids and not to think the worst of them, but to really get curious about why the lies are happening and what's going on for your child below the surface, and to really think they're good kids. They're probably trying to really salvage the relationship they share with us. All right. Thanks for joining me on the Peace and Parenting podcast. I will see you all next time.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Baker's, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Baker's worth it every time. Baker's, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply. When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Baker's, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Baker's worth it every time. Baker's, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.